the 20th. It is September. It is the year 2020, or that's at least what they want us to believe. There's a lot of people in the chat already, which is fairly cool. Janice Garland, what is up? Chucky Chuckerson, Joseph Buck, Live Life, Love Laughter, Lead Man, Tanya Womack, Holy Spokes, Button Willow, Shane Ross Sings, Debar, Misfit, Roxanne, Jojo the Dog Face Boy, what's up? Mesa, Arizona. Anybody from Israel in here right now, because Israel is locked down. Every country they locked down before they locked the United States down, they're locking down again. Isn't that fantastic? I am going to have Days of Noah come in here because he just put up a phenomenal video on his channel, but he's grabbing a coffee real quick. So I want to show you this. This is RFB2. Everybody's pretty much familiar with this channel because it's how you found this channel. And I have 2 community guideline strikes, so I can't post videos on here, which is brilliant. So I haven't posted a video in a week on this particular channel because I'm not allowed because, you know, America. Hold on. Hold on. That was Days of Noah telling me he's getting his coffee. He's almost ready. I gave him 0 notice. This channel is still up, but it also has 2 copyright strikes. I just made this channel, 1 month ago. And this is all there is for videos. And they've already removed, I don't know, 3 of them, and it's already got 2 copyright strikes. So this channel is, they're going to pull this one down too. So here's where we're at. This is where you can still find me if all hell breaks loose. I'm still up on BitChute. BitChute is not awesome. BitChute is hard to watch videos, and sometimes it takes up to 3 days to upload a video, which sucks, but it is what it is. You can always almost find me here. I don't do Twitter very much, but I am on Twitter. I've been on Twitter forever. 18,000 followers. So there's that. And you can find me here. And this is the one that they can't take down. And that must really make them mad. Let me see if I can find it. Stand by. Stand by. Oh, it's right here. This is Richie from Boston TV. It's $2.99 a month. It is what it is. It's the cheapest I could put it up there for, so that's what I put it up there for. And there's a lot of videos up here in case you hadn't noticed. A lot of videos. You see what I mean? And I tried to put up all the ones that YouTube took down on me. And then I'll be uploading to it all the time. So I'll be uploading it to it later today. Stuff you can't put on YouTube, you can put on this particular platform. So there is that. All right. So there's that. That's where you can find me. Links will be pinned in the comment section below if this video is even still up, because it is that bad. Every time I put up a video, I have to sit there and wait and see if they allow it to stay up. It's amazing to me that me interviewing Dr. Madej gets taken down in 2 hours, yet everything she said in my live stream, she said on her own channel, and that video is still up. You see what I'm saying? So it happens. It happens. It happens. It happens. So there is that again. Catherine said, I'm a fangirl. Who isn't? Everyone's a fangirl. I'm a fangirl. Mike Decker's a fangirl. Apparently, Trevor thinks Truth Matters, thinks the Cowboys still suck. Like Cowboys and Indians or Cowboys football? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bill Gates is the one that might have got my channel pulled because I called him a pedophile, and when I put his video out there about the mosquitoes, he got 14,000 thumbs down overnight. I don't think he digs that. So there is that. And I'm just killing time right now waiting for Days of Noah because I don't want to jump into this till I have him on here, because Profusa has said a lot of things, and I want to double check to make sure it is accurate before I run with it. But it is crazy. But I mean, check this out. This is showing up everywhere. Investment Watch. Fauci demands full lockdown. There is a lockdown coming. And if you let these people lock you down again, it's completely and utterly over. You will go quietly into the night. America will fall as a nation without a whimper. It will be a wrap. And from what I've seen in the last 6 months, going coast to 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 coast, everyone's going along with the program. It's pretty sad. You know what I'm saying? That is quite the picture you got going there, huh? Exactly. Ping-a-ling-ding said Profusa reminds me of the profane. I agree with that. But some of the things that the Profusa said on their website is why I'm bringing Days of Noah back on, because he was in it and I want him to go over it. It is kind of, they're putting it right out there. According to Profusa's website, in 2009, they said the World Health Organization, which is a privately owned corporation, and the Center for Disease Control, which is a privately owned corporation. These two privately owned corporations are shutting down all the nations of the world on their say-so. According to Profusa's website, in 2009, WHO, CDC came together and tricked everybody with the H1N1 virus into getting vaccines, etc. They straight up say it, that they tricked them with a false thing. But that's why I'm bringing Days of Noah. Yep. The second wave will be a twin-demic, which means when cold and flu season comes, that's what they've been dragging this whole thing onto. When cold and flu season comes, they're going to say COVID, when it obviously just regular old cold and flus. But sadly, our fellow Americans are sheep, and they will fall for it. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing that this is even going to happen. Mike Decker just cut my hair, so it's got to grow in. Yeah, I'm on it, brother. It's Truth Spreader. I'm on it. I had this up. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely, utterly, ridiculously crazy. They're even saying things. There is no new backup, dude. I can't. My backup channel was the banned one. It had nothing to do with me. The emails, everything I used to open that channel had nothing to do with me personally, and they still hit me the first day. And then the third day. And now I've already got 2 community guideline strikes, which means it is just a matter of time before it completely all caves in. What's up, Emma? No, not necessarily. There's a small fire going in Wyoming right now, but it's not a complete burnout. I was seeing smoke in the sky from Iowa all the way out to Wyoming. And finally last night, the wind kicked in and it completely, well, the sky is halfway whitish blue right now. So, I've got a prediction, Patrick. I've got a good prediction, and I think it makes sense. And it was an amalgamation. You like that word? On a Sunday morning? It was an amalgamation of things. While I'm driving out to Wyoming, I'm listening to the live streams that I did with Days of Noah over and over and over and over. And listening to him saying that Black Lives Matter and Antifa, which we know are funded, not entirely. Some of the people in Black Lives Matter, some of the people in Antifa are organic, which means they are protesting. They are going along. They think they're doing the right thing, but the entire movement is being led by people that are being paid by billionaires to destroy the country. I'm listening to Days of Noah talking about Black Lives Matter as a proxy army and something. I walked into Mike Decker's house. Hey, what's up, brother? I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. And he tells me something. I'm not going to say this till Days of Noah comes on, but I have a prediction, and I guarantee it's going to get my channel taken down, and it will absolutely set off complete and utter chaos in the United States. See if you can guess what I'm going to say. But I know what they're going to do before the election. I'm almost positive of it. Almost positive. I just highlighted the wrong thing. Why are they destroying nature? Yeah, dude. These people... Yeah, this is biblical, man. They're destroying all of creation and they're remaking it with technology. It's a long story. It's a long, long story. And believe it or not, I think there's more land here on Earth than we know about. So there's that. Then say it. Then say it. Nope, it's not that. It's worse. It's worse. Think about Snoop Dogg. How about that? Think about Snoop Dogg. See if that makes any sense. Now, My Ohio Scrib sent me an email, and I believe it says that he got a letter saying that, you know what? Let me double check before I say anything. Up. How close? We just saw Ron Paul and his wife, or whatever the kid's name is. What's Ron Paul's son's name? It's Ron Paul, isn't it? Isn't he a junior or something like that? They're going to have Black Lives Matter take out Trump, or we're going to see that. And that's going to set it. Days of Noah kept saying Black Lives Matter's job is to get conservative white people to freak out. But they're not going to, because conservative white people are just sitting back, snuggling up at night with their AR-15s that they don't fire at anybody, trusting the plan. Trump's got this. It's all good. Black Lives Matter. This is what we'll be presented with. BLM will take out Trump, or that's what they'll present us with, and then it will be absolutely on. Absolutely on. Because I walked into Mike Decker's and he said, dude, ammo's available. You haven't been able to get 5.56 or 7.62 in months. And now it's readily available all again? Yeah. So let's see what Days of Noah says after he's done with his coffee. But Brandonna, yeah, you nailed it, man. You nailed it. One of them, you spelled Marxist wrong. There's an X right there. Nobody's doing nothing. Nope, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So I'm just killing time until Dave shows up, all right? I hope you guys don't mind. So we'll just chill here for a bit. I didn't know. See, I looked to see if he got taken out, but it reminded me about Snoop Dogg's video. That I grew up listening to The Chronic, NWA, Metallica. I had a very, very wide palette as far as music, but I listened to hardcore hip hop when I was a kid. It was actually just called rap. And Snoop Dogg was awesome. That video where he shoots Trump, the clown Trump, Lavender, that video sucks. Snoop Dogg looks like a fool. The lyrics are horrendous. It's just laughable, but he does shoot Trump. So I watched that video looking for anything, license plates, anything to point to what I'm saying right now. But it just came to me last night. Suddenly, magically, all of a sudden, ammo is available again. Even though I talked to every gun dealer in this entire area, and I think I did a video on it before they took my channel down, and they were saying, we can't get weapons anymore. You can't come in and order a gun. Every week, Ruger will call and say, we have one of these available. Do you want it? That was it. So you really pray that doesn't happen? What? Listen, they're burning the country down on a mass scale. It amazes me that people are even Trump 2020. Okay, so let's go to make-believe land, okay? Let's go to make-believe land. Voting is real. Trump really is our president and really does care about America. How is it everyone in America is hanging their hat on Trump 2020 when, while Trump was president, the United States has never been in worse shape than it is right now? And you can't say, oh, it's because of the Democrats or because of well, how about this? That means in a real world, Trump can't be the president because he couldn't make it work. The national debt has never, ever been higher. Unemployment has never been higher. I don't care what these numbers say, what they tell you. At the beginning of this, 60% of small businesses in America are gone right now. Gone. You don't see that in the mainstream news every day, do you? You know what I'm saying? The mainstream news has already come out and straight said COVID isn't real. This is all about climate change, which is secretly all about Agenda 21, because these dudes owe the weather and have for a long, long, long time. So there's that. What do you mean? What should we do? Well then what you should do is you should have known this was coming 2 years ago or 10 years ago. I'm sorry it took this long, but here it is. You know what I mean? It takes a long time to take a country down. But apparently they're doing a great job right now because nobody's doing shit about nothing. And here comes the second lockdown. And now they're going to drag this right into cold and flu season and tell you that the cold that you were going to get no matter what happened is now COVID-19. Wow. Wow. And don't forget the dark winter. It's very, very helpful that, a third of the country is covered by smoke. So the weather is completely effed anyways. People are texting me while I'm live. I'm going to try to maintain. 30 trillion. 30 trillion is the number they show on the national debt clock. You know what I mean? And yes, I already showed that. That's coming. That's coming. And so isn't the lockdown. So isn't the lockdown. I watch iPad Goat every few days. And you know what else I watch is this channel. Let me see if I can find this real quick because everything equates to Obama. And remember that time I told you I had a dream about Obama being president again after Trump got killed? Or Trump just got, he went to Epstein Island or whatever. How come I can't find his channel? I can't spell it. He sounds like Days of Noah, but he's not Days of Noah. Could KJI, I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to spell it. I mirror videos by him once in a great while. Yeah, Australia's not too good, huh? This is incredibly crazy. I think it's incredibly crazy. There you go. There you go. This YouTuber right here, he can make a video and equate everything that's happening in the news, in mainstream, and it all ties back to Obama. Trump disappears, something happens to Trump, and Obama shows up again. Imagine that. Imagine that. You know what I mean? You didn't miss anything yet. I'm just kind of chilling here waiting for Days of Noah to jump in. Of course he does. Of course he does. Obama stays in the mainstream. It's a good channel. It's a very good channel. I've mirrored him numerous times. I don't know why you keep saying the scary. It's not what I'm talking about. My audience, this isn't an audience, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm still going to wait. Thanks, though. I find this strange. The comments get me going. I try to keep on the comments because that's what you're supposed to do. The smoke's bad here in Canada. It just cleared out here in Wyoming. Pretty much. Oh, yeah. He sure does, man. Well, they haven't, Brian SB. They haven't at all. I can videotape them all day if you'd like. They're all over the place, coast to coast. I love how I'm looking out my window. I don't see chemtrails, so therefore they have stopped. Let me guess. Trump's spraying vitamins again, right? It would take a 5-year-old to believe that. And yes, people believe that. You did see the video that I did before they took it sucks they took my channel down because I lost so many videos. But the doctor that wanted to put psilocybin mushrooms, a Michigan professor proposed putting psilocybin mushrooms so everyone would be tripping so that they would be more accepting of the second lockdown. How can you predict a lockdown? This is a pandemic. Remember, it's a pandemic, even though you see zero evidence on planet Earth whatsoever at all. But it's a pandemic. But these guys have predicted how things are going to happen all along. Okay. Nice. I'm live right this second, ma'am. See that? Instead of freaking out, that was nice. Well, yeah, I can't believe people would say this isn't a pandemic. Indeed, indeed, indeed. I just saw standby. Well, no, yeah, Tina, don't think that because that's not accurate. It freaks me out that him and Dr. Madai and Dr. Tenpenny are all on the same live stream, and yet Dr. Madai is well aware of what this is. She literally agrees with everything across the board. Once this is nanotechnology. Once you take this hydrogel from DARPA or the any one of the vaccines that have been prepared and ready before they pulled this thing, once you take it, you cannot detox. Why Dr. Kaufman thinks you can, I don't know, but he's completely and utterly wrong, which is why I stopped having him on, because I can't have that. Dr. Kaufman's value was in the fact that he pointed out, explained, and showed how what they're showing to be the COVID germ inside of you is actually an exosome that was there anyway, or a chromosome. And both of them are actually helpful. They fight off disease and such. Why he thinks that, I don't know, man. I don't know, but he's wrong. It happens. It happens. I don't know what you're talking about, Ventura. You can't, is what I just finished saying. So there you can't. Once that's inside of you, we're going to explain this ad nauseum, so you'll get it, man. There's no coming back. You get that back. You get anything to do with not getting a flu ever again from this point on, or not getting the pandemic, you're done. Period. Make peace with that. Be ready for that, or don't. You were warned. Did Mike F me up? He did, huh? He did. He might have to do, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wear a hat. I might have to not go to the club tonight. I'm just kidding. I don't go to clubs. It is. That's accurate. That is accurate. That is accurate. That's happened many, many times. Many times. I'm not saying that's the thing, but it could be. Without a doubt, because if you don't have this, if you don't do what they say, you will not be able to participate. Therefore, you won't be able to buy and sell. And there is no way you can do anything to detox nanotechnology out of your body that goes in and attaches to your cells. Period. You know what? Period. That's all there is to it. I'll argue with a doctor all day. Right? It is what are you going to do? The pineapple was badass, though, if you remember. So, exactly. FEMA camps are pretty much done. I find it strange that you would type, Richie, the virus is a hoax. Oh, it is? Oh, my bad. I had no kidding. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Wow, that's weird. Oh, goodness. Here we go. Oh, yeah. I'm the boss of my body. I decide what goes into it. You're also a human being on this earth with God-given rights, but I haven't seen people acting accordingly. They're acting as though the government gives them rights. They're acting as though the government has the ability to say, you have to stay in your house. You don't go to work. Your kids don't go to school. You do what we say. Because I just watched my entire country do that. No problem. Did I do that? Absolutely not. Was it to my own detriment? So far, yeah. When they finally deal with me, will they make me look like an absolute asshole? Probably. But it is what it is. I'm good with that. I'm absolutely good with that, man. So there is that. I just saw something. Yeah, see, don't do that. See this? Oh, we're at the end of the rope. I want to go to a strip club in Shreveport. Well, then there you go. But here's the deal. All the people, you know what I'm going to do right now? I make sure that I pray at least 15, 20 times a day. And I have this book that a subscriber that lives here in Wyoming gave me. It's like a little book of verses out of the Bible. And every once in a while, I just open to a random one. And it's weird because they almost always apply to what I'm thinking about or what I'm worried about. Yes, we will be called bigots. Remember that? That's the wrong one. Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Dude, there's only 14,000 subscribers in this channel, so the chat can't be going that fast. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I saw it. I agree. Okay. Here's the deal. Why do I bring any of these people on? Why do they usually blow up in my face? Because a doctor saying the exact same thing about Moderna, nanotechnology, the illuminated ones, this entire thing's a hoax, that carries more weight than some asshole that looks like a pineapple with no front tooth on a laptop at Mike Decker's house. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I do it. So there's that. That's not accurate, dude. That's not accurate. And I love how people pop up that I don't know at all that say things like that. That's it. That's it. But I haven't seen anybody wielding this particular weapon. I saw people doing exactly what they were told to do. And I still do. From coast to coast, wearing their mask. It's ridiculous. Rubber gloves while you're pumping gas. Dude, I showered Wednesday when I left my house, and I just showered like 5 minutes before I started this live stream. In that time frame, it seems like I'd be very susceptible. Dude, it's so ridiculous. I mean, it's almost October. This whole ruse started in March. Come on, man, wake up. And they're rolling it right into cold and flu season where people would naturally get sick anyways. And then they're going to say it's crazy. Must hit critical mass. We're nowhere near critical mass, man. Nowhere near critical mass. Nice. Nice, nice. All right, Days of Noah is taking forever here. He's killing me. All right. So chances are with what I'm going to show in this channel is going to get hit. And I'm going to be all out of channels. And you know what? It's getting a little tedious trying to keep all the channels going at one time when every single day I get hit every single hour. It's just getting old, man. I got to say that I think I might have done my time. It is what it is. I'll upload here, and I'm going to upload to, where is it? Stand by. Right here. This one's kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm learning how to use it. So every interview that I did with the doctors, every interview that got banned, the authors of What Really Makes You Ill, that's up on RichieFromBoston.tv. And then every video they pulled down, me and James Corbett, blah, 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 all these ones where I look like a pineapple. The video where I said you cannot attack the White House, because you can't attack the White House, dude. If you gave me 10 dudes properly armed in the authority to do so, we could have defended the White House from a bunch of people running around, jumping up and down with cell phones, man. Come on, dude. Yeah, no doubt, Oleg. You got it. I don't know what that means. Okay, the comment section on my end has halted, so that's awesome. And I got a copyright strike on Patreon, man. That's never, ever happened. Yeah, I heard that. And did you hear what I just finished saying? I am done making videos and posting them all over the place. It's a lot of work. It's too much time, and it doesn't seem to be working anyway. I'm done. And this will be bought just like BitChute was, just like everything else was, okay? You think they're going, oh, brand new tubes here. Oh, our whole plan's foiled. Now we'll have to start something else. If you don't understand what's happening right now, I'm not sure if there's really anything else. I didn't know that, but yes, they do, which blew me away, man. What's up, June? What's up, Nez? Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. It's pretty pathetic that if your job for a Sunday morning is to troll a channel that has less than 15,000 subscribers, you're lame. Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. They want white America to finally stand up and grab their weapons and go, hey, wait a minute. This whole thing is lame. Let's go after these people that are destroying their country because no one else is stopping them. And then it will be on. In order to get them to do that, you got to take out the main player, the main excuse. We don't have to do anything because we're trusting the plan, or we don't have to do anything because Make America Great Again, or we don't have to do anything because Trump 2020, or we don't have to do anything because where we go one, we go all. And yet the national debt goes up, unemployment goes up, the amount of small businesses in the country closing their doors forever is at the highest it's ever been since I've been alive. They're going to take them out or make it look like that. So, yeah, well, here's the deal. I've always said this too. They've got technology that you can point a gun at somebody when they hit you with something you can't see and you don't remember how to pull the trigger. Yeah, they've got an app for that. There we go. Look at the new logo, man. You're fancy, dude.
Thanks, man. It's actually not new. Just couldn't find my original file for my normal one, so it's the backup.
Oh, this sounds like this isn't DAYZOFNOAH. This is some Illuminati imposter.
MK Ultra.
Aha! What's up, brother? How'd you like that for notice? Hey, you want to go live today? Yeah, when? Now.
I love it, man. I love it. I love the energy.
Sorry, I got live stream right now. Mike Decker just went to look at another dog because both of his dogs died last time I was here, so that was lame. But I'll tell you what, man. What I told you last night, what I texted you, I know you've been stewing on that.
Oh yeah.
But it was your on the way here. I'm driving out here, driving for 3.5 days, Massachusetts to Wyoming, driving. And I'm listening to the live streams that I did with DAYZOFNOAH, and I'm listening to him over and over and over explaining how the powers that be that are using the organic energy from disgruntled people, combining it with their paid actors, trying to get conservative Americans to stand up, but they won't because they're too busy trusting the plan. Like the Make America Great thing worked too well. People are just sitting back watching the whole thing go off the tracks. They need some sort of a catalyst. I walk into Mike's house and he's like, dude, suddenly we can buy bulk ammo. And I'm like, you haven't been able to get that for months now, but suddenly it's available again. And it just clicked in my head, man. It just clicked in my head. Something weird. I mean, what's Ron Paul's son's name, the senator? It's Ron Paul.
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul comes out of the Capitol or whatever and gets surrounded by Black Lives Matter. And they're harassing him and they're swearing at him and his wife and they're calling him names. In a real world, you can't get that close to a senator. It doesn't work like that.
Never.
But in the new world, he's surrounded. He's at their mercy. Watch what happens. They want to set this off. Snoop Dogg showed us back in that terrible rap video, Lavender. Bang. Take out the clown Trump. It would be on. And that would bring Obama back into the scene again. Because he was the last president. I'm telling you, Obama plays a big part. There's another YouTuber named Kim Majaric. I don't know how to say it, but I followed him since forever. And he's equated all this to Obama coming back and running this new world order.
Well, we said in the past Obama would be the last president. So I think we were speaking to something there.
And didn't know it.
Yeah, and didn't know it because in all reality or in all false reality, Trump could just be somewhat of a type of dream state until their plan is fully rolled out by way of the likes of someone like Obama, right? It really, to me, I've always felt Trump, and from the very beginning, I felt Trump was a stand-in, a placeholder, a type of clown for chaos magic, to roll out indirectly, as it may seem, this crazy plan. And it's interesting because he's played such a perfect role at dividing. And I'm not trying to say Trump is, as they say, we won't let him divide us, or whatever they say. Trump isn't doing anything. And this is all a plan orchestrated by the media, mixed with governments and, of course, NGOs. Trump is really just, in my view, he's just kind of being utilized, though I think he's complacent in it all. It's really a massive plan that's just coming together succinctly, and it's crazy because what you're saying makes a lot of sense. It does seem as if, or possibly the power of Obama never left, right? It never went away. That's another possibility, and I have heard recently talks of Michelle Obama or Michael Obama coming into the scheme, possibly. That would be interesting, but it does seem like there is this Obama spirit that is just waiting to have its moment once again, right?
I agree, brother. I had a dream, and I kind of tried to explain it last time I was out here. And Obama was, I didn't even realize it when I texted you last night. I had a dream that something happened. Trump was removed. He was put to Epstein Island or whatever. He was suddenly gone. And everybody was very, very angry about that. And Obama rose up again. And I wouldn't be surprised if he passed a law that none of us were even aware of when he was president or in the White House last time, where if anything does happen to Trump, he does come back. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't. And think about it. He's still living through Netflix right now. Higher Grounds Productions. He is the mind and I'd say pen behind a lot of production that's going on at Netflix. Mind you, Cuties was just released. I'm sure he had something to do with the signing away of that film's release, which is just disturbing. But yeah, he's still here. He hasn't left. His spirit is still acting on the nation. And unfortunately, for those that are conservative and Republicans and support Donald Trump, he's really a placeholder here. He is just here to distract a certain group of individuals that I'd say the last real Americans. Honestly, I'd say the last real conservative Americans that are here are those that do, follow what one would call the Trumpian line. But unfortunately, we have this Q thing and this plan thing, and that's just it seems to be confusing a large portion of conservatives when what we really need to be under is Christ. We really need to be under the scriptures, and we need to realize where all of this is headed, and we need to stop relying on politics and governments and man to tell us where to go and where all of this is going and what our future is going to be. And that's the saddest part about all of this. It's slowly reducing any opportunity for the Christian worldview to have some say in where our society is headed. Now, of course, this is clearly part of God's plan. That's why I mentioned the Most High's hand, because he's moving now. He's making everything roll out the way it's supposed to. The order in which it will, we don't really know. But overall, it's clear that big things are coming, man. I mean, the psyops are being rolled out in tandem like never before. We have a new Anthrax Part 2 2.0 coming out, that this ricin situation. We had 2 mass shootings yesterday. We had one in Rochester, New York, and we had another one in Chicago, I believe. Totaled, both of them together, about 30, I think 20 or 30 people shot, probably 12 killed. Something like that. So, and those didn't even reach mainstream media. Just wait.
Are you kidding me? I didn't even know it while I was driving, dude. I just finished telling Mike Decker, every time I hit the road, some sort of massive false flag event happens, and then here's another mass shooting. That's trippy, man. I don't get it. Go ahead. My bad.
And the day before that, I had put out a community post where I was saying, don't be surprised if you see a mass shooting coming soon, because we haven't seen one in a while.
A long time.
And it might be a conservative, and it might be a black man. It might be a black woman. Just get ready for the craziest things, man. Just get ready.
Days, I have listened to your voice so much in the last few months, because I explained, Mike's like, so you don't really hear the live stream when you're doing it? It's like, no. Days is so much smarter than me. I have to listen when we're doing a live stream so that when he stops talking, I can at least have some semblance of an answer when he's done. And usually I just go, I don't even know how to say this. You know what I mean? I don't fake the funk, man. But when I listen to it over again, the proxy army, they've got their proxy army, but an army needs an enemy. They need a foe. They need someone, an opponent. Their opponent is too busy trusting the plan or waiting to make America great again. They need to do something to set this off.
Yes.
And I'm positive they do.
Well,
InfoWars, 100% truth. What a wacko.
Well, for those listening, let me give you a resource here. If you want to, in my view, I think this lines up pretty correctly, and you could see it for yourself. But in my view, this seems to be, of course, a massive type of central intelligence operation. There's something called unconventional warfare, and there's actually a PDF online you can look up. If you were to look up that document and read through it, it is the blueprint to what we're seeing now through
exactly. It's
Black
called
Lives Matter.
Fourth generation warfare. They're using both of these at the same time.
Yes.
It's amazing, man. It's without firing a shot, without them necessarily firing a shot, they're getting all this done.
Yes.
And without a doubt, dude, they have to do something big because this is Agenda 21. They're not going to let this slip away, in my opinion, at all. And the reason I wanted to do this with you this morning, the reason I bothered you is because I want to go over this Profusa thing, but I want you to do it because you looked at it. You know, I don't want to like bite your rhymes here. This is your video.
Sure.
This video is phenomenal. I'm going to put this up on RichieFromBoston.tv, even though I don't even know if anyone watches that. I just figured out how to do it. And the timing was pretty damn good because, boy, did they start smoking me, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen a channel. Dude, they took out all 3 of my channels at once. I'm locked out of 3 of my 4 channels. Boom. Done.
Yeah, they're hitting hard right now. Even this video right here that you're showing, that the one I just posted, an hour in, they hit me with a age restriction, copyrights. You can't share it in many places. It's crazy. I can steal it and share it on 2 other platforms that they can't mess with right now, as far as I know, dude. But I'm just glad they haven't pulled it. I'm glad it's even able to be up. So we'll deal with it. It's
phenomenal. I got it saved. There's several people that we got it saved. We got it. So, but let's finish up on the likelihood. So if there's been 2 mass shootings that I didn't even know about, that blows me away. They're picking up the pace again.
They're picking up the pace, but this is the thing. Unless it comes out in mainstream media, which it hasn't, it's most likely legitimate shootings, and I think they probably have black shooters. Now, when the shooters are black, you're not going to hear anything, right? Because it doesn't fit the agenda. Again, I don't know all the details here. It might come out later. You know, some of these shootings come out months later, and they use them as propaganda. But what I'm saying is there were 2 mass shootings yesterday, so maybe we'll hear about them Monday. But if we don't hear about them, they're possibly not part of the so-called agenda that's going to be coming out, because I can see like another Vegas situation. I could easily see them pulling something like that, man.
Right.
I mean, it would just be perfect for the moment. Perfect.
The Vegas situation, I was on the road and I made a video from the road saying, I don't know the whole story, but I've seen some of the victims and witnesses and they're lying. And I said in that video, if some of it's a lie, all of it's a lie. That landed me on the mainstream news. And they said that I was attacking one of the victims and I didn't even know who he was. Hey, James B., I just blocked you by accident, dude, because the chat started scrolling. I was trying to block this Jordan Sam dude and I blocked you by accident. I'll undo it. My bad, man. It was an accident. At any rate.
Yeah, I got a strike for that Vegas situation. I did a video and a live stream on that. Both were pulled, and I was given a strike back when they were giving strikes for pulling videos right away. And it was rough, man. I couldn't do live. I couldn't go live for a while because of that situation, man. They were hitting everybody.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But here it comes. Remember when back in the old days when they were trying to pull this pandemic thing, but Americans were too smart. We didn't fall for it. I'm just kidding. Remember back in the beginning when we were like, hey, they're not censoring anybody at all. And we kind of drew the conclusion because they needed it. They needed input. Like, what do these people think about what we're doing? What are the main, what are regular people? What do the normies think about what these conspiracy jerk offs are saying about COVID? And then suddenly, apparently, they got all the data they needed. Like, yep, we can do this. We've got 95% of the population doing exactly what we said. These other 5%, we'll just marginalize them, minimize them, censor them, or whatever, and continue moving forward. Today, I mean, like I said, the shootings I had no knowledge of whatsoever, but this is what I'm seeing. And we knew this was coming, man. Here comes the second lockdown. It's everywhere. Israel's already locked down. They're already closing down temples and all this other stuff. Here it comes again. I cannot tell you people enough. If you let them lock you down again, it's done. It's a done deal. America will go out without a whimper. This nation will fall quietly into the night, and it'll be a wrap. It'll absolutely be a wrap. That's my opinion on the matter. And here comes the propaganda, because it's coming from all angles. Everyone. We've got the twin-demic coming. The twin-demic. Dude, they're going to ride this. They're going to ride this scam.
Twin-demic. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Well, that's what happens. Let me explain that to you. I'll explain what experts have told us. With this pandemic that we're already struggling to live day to day with, now the cold and flu season's coming, and the new flu is even worse than the old flu because of COVID, plus the smoke in the air and everything else. They're riding this, and if you happen to get a cold because, it was your time to get a cold, you got COVID. It's brilliant.
It is brilliant. It is. It's absolutely brilliant.
Also incredibly see-through, dude. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But we live in a new world where me, you, Mike Decker, the people in the chat, apparently we're the smartest people left on earth right now.
Apparently.
Because we can see this.
Yes.
And that's a sad state of affairs, man.
It is. It is. And, they capitalize on the ignorance of the mass population. That's the problem. They know very well most people are not going to do any real research. They're going to rely on mainstream media to give them all of the knowledge that they have. And they're afraid. So you mix those two together. You mix ignorance and fear together. And you have a massive population of sitting ducks.
It's in this guy right here. I pulled this dude's. These guys jumped right on this right off the bat. They didn't even wait very long. To have Klaus Schwab coming out as the spokesperson for the World Economic Forum saying COVID's not going to really go down in the history books, not like the Spanish flu or anything. It's not really big. It's not going to leave that big of a footprint at all. It's just a great opportunity.
Yes.
The fact that they picked this dude, this guy is the same. This is every bad guy in every movie we watched growing up. Anybody that comes out and says the disease is no good, that's a bad guy, man. Bad guys always say the word Z, you know what I mean? And that's what they're presenting. And then, I mean, dude, it's not only that all this is coming out and has been coming out from them. I showed you this book that's available to anybody that nobody seems to be buying. If you read this book or just read the foreword,
there it is
on Amazon, it explains everything. They need to do a big event to stop everything in its tracks. The macro reset. That would be the pandemic. The conceptual framework. We talked about this the other night. But this is it right here. Step by step by step by step by step. They're not hiding it. We're trying to show it to people, and they're just sitting back trusting the plan. And I think the powers that be, if you and I can see it, they can see it. They're going to use. I'm telling you, they're gonna take out, or they're gonna go after him, and that will set it off. And they're gonna sit back and let us take each other out.
Yes, a lot of people have been mentioning this possibility of Trump being, attempted assassinations, and it's always made a lot of sense based on the polarity that we have right now between left and right, and politically. So it makes sense, because think about it. They're really building up the MAGA movement. The MAGA movement is so strong right now. In fact, a lot of Democrats are moving over to the right and joining the MAGA movement, and the BLM is, and mixed with Antifa, is being used as such a weapon, as such a battering ram, and they're breaking so many boundaries that now even leftists, or let's just say classic liberals, progressives are now saying, hey, you know, maybe Trump is a better idea. He could protect us. So now you're building the Trump base. Imagine if something were to happen to him. You're going to create the ultimate recipe for disaster. And I think that can easily happen. And if you look at what BLM and Antifa are doing now, they're actually, this is interesting. And this, I just saw this yesterday, many clips. They're going into the gay communities and harassing gay communities, man. They're eating their own. The Ouroboros is now showing its face. I mean, this is big.
Which it always does. Man. But that is crazy. That's crazy. I'm glad you're telling me this stuff, because now I'm catching up, because I just went through everything that's going to be in this live stream is directly from subscribers. I didn't even check Drudge Report, or I think I jumped into Zero Hedge for a few things, but you're filling me in big time. So expand on that just a little bit more for those that don't understand the Ouroboros analogy.
So the Ouroboros is basically it's a symbol of a snake eating its tail. So imagine eating your tail. It's just this kind of counterproductive way of life where you can't really progress because you're constantly eating all your progression is being devoured. So in a sense, when there is no genuine, authentic, righteous movement, it tends to be counterproductive. So these individuals, though they feel they're progressive, they're actually regressive. And what's happening is they have a lot of infighting, and they end up fighting each other and killing themselves off. And that's really what we're seeing with this movement. And my contention is that this movement has been created to kill itself. I feel, you know, the left will destroy itself, and it will be done on live stream, and it will be broadcasted to the world to witness, and it will be somewhat of a sacrifice. It will be the sacrificial ritual of the destruction of the hyperliberal left, and it will be this false sense of victory for the right. It will be this false sense of so-called liberation, Americanism for the right, but in fact, the right will be led to the slaughter by the conservative king. And then imagine them taking out the king, right? This is just an idea. But if they were to pull this off, you would see a massive civil war in many, many ways. You would see utter societal destruction. You would see the collapse of the American nation, and you would see the perfect opportunity for the Great Reset and the Fourth Industrial Revolution grid to be officially laid out in this country. And mind you, Donald Trump yesterday, I believe, or possibly the day before, just signed off billions of dollars to Puerto Rico to give them a new electric grid. I wonder what kind of grid that's going to be.
What? Well, we've got the Department of Homeland Security quietly in the background warning us 3 times so far this year that America looks like it's ready to get hit with an EMP. The president's giving another country, or one of our proxy countries, money for a new electrical grid. I find that strange. I don't understand that move.
Yeah. I think it's just another proxy location where they are going to be test running this new system, this new grid system, 5G, 6G, 7G, whatever G they're going to be using.
Oh, see, I don't like hearing this, because this does put a little more value on what if they do take our grid down? Because I kept thinking they warn us. It's not the first time they've warned us that the grid could go down due to an EMP. You know, pick one of the bad guys du jour. I get it. But in my opinion, they wouldn't pull the grid, because if they did, now they can't monitor us every minute, all the time on social media, because it would all be down.
Yes.
But maybe they have another. See,
this is the paradox. This is the paradox what you've just brought up.
Well, what if everyone got their hydrogel, they could monitor you internally, and they wouldn't need social media. Then they hit it and it's down, because of an EMP. America don't have any idea what's going on when there's an EMP. Too many Americans don't even know there didn't used to be an internet or 3 channels on television. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They wouldn't know what to do with no power.
This is true. I think basically they would have some backup system. Possibly, I don't think they could do this for too long, but who knows, man? You know, I don't really want to get into speculating what they could do, just because I
No,
don't
I'm
really
hip.
know.
I'm hip. I'm hip. Let's jump over to Profusa. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So chances are you've already seen this video that Days put up on his channel. It is called America the Blight, the Method of Madness 2020. And in this video, he pulled, what the hell is this? Oh, all right, cool. In this video, he pulls up a website called Profusa. Now, Profusa is, well, have at it. Have at it.
Basically, to make things simple, Profusa is this. Profusa is basically, it's this company in the Bay Area. It's actually out of Emeryville. And what they do is they're creating a type of injectable body sensor. And what it does is it takes your personal chemistry to a cell phone closer to reality. This is their own words. So what this kind of does is it merges you with, it basically merges man and machine. This is the first I've seen of a type of universal system that can be administered to an entire population.
Now look at it real quick. I don't mean to interrupt, but this is one of the first times you'll see they're showing this nanoparticulate going into your bloodstream. This is the manufacturer right here, DARPA and Hydrogel. They're showing it going into your system. This is you, and it's attaching. Watch this. They're going to show the nanoparticulate attaching to your cells inside. Once that's in, it ain't coming out. Go ahead.
Exactly. Now, the problem with this is it is a brand new thing. You know, the mRNA situation. This is all brand new. It's never been done before. And what this does is it's a boundary breaking type of technology. And when I say boundary breaking, I mean it's breaking the boundaries of your nature. And I think this is very significant because this is something that I believe the American people or just human beings in general should have some say in. If we are going to allow people to break the boundaries of our own biological nature, there has to be some type of discretion there. There has to be some type of decision making involved. And what we're seeing here is an absence of that altogether. We're seeing this being rolled out as if it just is what it is. And the problem with that is for all of us normal people out here who just want to live a normal and natural life, this is being foisted onto us without our approval. Now, the way they're doing it is very interesting. And as you see these videos here, they are targeting certain individuals or certain groups, should I say, certain groups that could very easily and I'd say productively use this science, for instance, with the elderly and different types of sicknesses and monitoring with doctors. This technology can be very beneficial for certain groups, right? If you think about it, if they want to go that far with this technology. But you see the military situation. And then, of course, you see athletes that are very interested in monitoring their bio scores or their bio levels, right? These groups could actually be interested in using this. Now, what's interesting is this technology is just not for these groups. This technology is going to be developed in a way that it's conjoined with all of the governmental systems coming from vaccines to ID 2020, all of these different tracking systems. This is the type of technology that is going to be used to integrate it into your biological system. That's the problem I have. It's not what they're telling you what they are telling us the use of this is the surface. This is going to open the door to a whole new realm of biotechnology that will be commonplace. It will be standard in society. And that's dangerous. That's the manipulative nature of this type of technology is they try to sell it to you like, look, we're going to help people. We're going to make things so much better and more convenient for certain groups. But they don't explain to you that, no, this type of technology is going to be for everyone. And there's going to be a point, especially when they get these vaccines in, where you're going to have to have proof that you are clean, that you're healthy, right? But not only that, if you're not, say you come up with a positive test, you're going to be tracked for life. And what type of technology do you think they're going to use to track you? This type of technology. It might not even be Profusa as the company. It might be a different company, but it's this specific type of technology that we should be paying attention to. Because right here, as they show you in Profusa, this thing is going under your skin. It's going to be connected to sensors, and it's going to be put into databases that can be read, controlled, and monitored from remote locations. Now, how do you think that sounds?
It sounds exactly like we've been anticipating. You know what I mean? And check this out. I'm driving and I'm listening to you do this video. And as soon as I pulled into Mike's house, I'm like, hey, dude, do you mind real quick? I know I just rolled in 1 second ago, but can we watch this video? It's 20 minutes long. He's like, I've already watched it 3 times. I said, let's watch it again, because I couldn't believe that right on their website, and I'm showing it right now, they straight up said that back in 2009, the World Health Organization and the CDC, both privately owned companies, effectively hyped a false flu pandemic and convinced the world to submit to H1N1 vaccines.
Now, real quick, Rich, I want to make sure I correct this. This you're reading right now is actually not from the Profusa website. They would never be that wide open. But there's the articles. It's linked in the description. But what this article is telling you here is extremely telling of what's going on here.
Go ahead.
No, continue. I just wanted to make sure we don't confuse the audience.
But it's linked here. Let me show you.
It's
linked right on Profusa's website. So
is it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I found that separately. I didn't know that.
Hold on. I got a bunch of links open right here. Oh, come on, man.
Anyway, just go back to it and read it, man, because that's some gold right there. You can't.
It was gold. I thought you were ad-libbing. I thought that was just your opinion, and I'm like, that's right on the site. Are you kidding me? But anyway, and here we go. Go ahead. Let's start. Let's start like you're making the video all over again. Go ahead.
What's that? You want me to read it here?
Well, just explain what you think of this right here, and the benefits of them putting this right out.
Well, this is clearly what we're seeing happen with COVID. It's just
right now.
In 2009, it just was with H1N1. It's the same program. It's the same type of, nudging. It's the same type of, manufacturing of consent. That's all this stuff is, man. It's really just basic, I'd even say low-level psychological operations that you would read about in any military white paper. This stuff is very simple. I mean, and especially when you realize how simple the population is. This is just fear propaganda. This is just a way to get people to agree to agree to mass inoculations. And that's what they want. They want mass inoculations. And I personally believe they need it.
So they're going to do whatever it takes to make this happen. They need it to happen.
Now, it's not a lot of people want to jump on this idea of vaccines. They want to kill everybody. They go back to the Georgia Guidestones. Though there might be some truth in that statement, I think the vaccines, I think, are more about tracking. And this is my own personal view, because I think they have many other ways of killing us. Right. I believe we're dying off in many other ways due to different poisons and different things. But we're no longer reproducing. Our reproduction rate is dropping by the year. We're actually going to die out due to this kind of this cultural pattern. That's the thing. When you study culture, it's sociology, you realize we're not having as many babies, especially in the Western world. And as the Japanese are going to eventually die out because they're experiencing it even heavier than the West is experiencing it. We are reproducing at such a low rate that it's almost as if the population bomb it's a total myth. We don't have to really be concerned about overpopulating because we are depopulating on our own. But that's another idea. But basically what I'm saying is I think a bigger part of this vaccine has to do with this type of Profusa technology, and that's going to incorporate tracking. I think tracking and the grid and controlling your every movement, knowing everything you do, collecting all your data under the guise of convenience. And look, your life is just going to be so much easier. Overall, it's going to be about keeping everybody in place, telling everybody where they can go, where they can't go. That's just my view. I think tracking really is the ultimate goal of all these vaccines under the guise of disease and therapy, or should I say treatment, right? Helping you be healthy. I think that's all a bunch of nonsense. I think this is really just a way to give them the opportunity to put a tracking device in your body.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And that leaves people like yourself, myself, and the 2,300 watching and more with no recourse. Because if you don't participate in this, it's going to be the same thing as the mandatory or not mandatory mask. You can't participate in society.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You'll be considered an enemy of the state. That's going to be an easy one.
Easy.
Because we've said this ad nauseum. People just want to go back to their normal life, no matter what fraction of a normal life there's left. They just want to go back to their normal life. They want to come home and watch television. They want to watch sports. They want to do what they were doing, which was basically not all that much, because Americans have been dwindled down to consumers and people that are just tied to their electronic devices, sadly.
Yes.
You know, if you know how to cut down a tree and you know how to make a tent and sleep in the woods without having a vehicle or a camper, you're considered a survivalist. Back in the old days, you were just considered a person. It was no big deal. It's what we did. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy, 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 crazy.
Yeah, or Ortega y Gasset, a Spanish philosopher, he wrote an old book, but even, I think he wrote it in the 30s, but even then he was paying attention to this new type of person that was being developed. And he was claiming that this started in the 19th century, but we really see it today. And he called it the mass man. And in his view, the mass man was this type of very arrogant, narcissistic, individual that just expected everything to be created and handed to him, didn't really know how things were made, didn't know what it took for things to be made, where things came from, how to survive on your own, just this type of glutton. And it's funny because that's what we are seeing the new Western modern population turn into, this type of mass man archetype that just relies on computer technology and different databases to know anything at all, to even make decisions. And of course, to live day to day. And in many cases, let's be real here, many of us live day to day through technology, and we've become detached from the real world in many ways.
Right. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. You were explaining, I forget what you called it. It was Generation Z. And I've run into this in real life because I ran into one of my relatives. She's 19. She's a second cousin or whatever. I'm taking her someplace and, I'm trying to make small talk. How do you talk to a 19-year-old? And I'm like, so what's up? You got a boyfriend or what? And she looked at me like I just asked her if she was growing a tail. It was that ridiculous. She's like, we don't do that anymore. We just hook up on apps and then that's it. She's like, people don't really date anymore. And I'm like, that's a bad thing. You need that. That's how you make community. That's how you make family. That's how you make country. That's how you make a nation.
Well, those four things you just mentioned right there, right now, are obsolete at this point, and they do not belong in the fourth industrial revolution, unfortunately. There is no such thing as relationship. There is no such thing as family. There is no such thing as community, and there definitely is no such thing as nation. Right? It's just, there's no room for any of those things. It becomes an atomized society of separatists that live in their own solipsistic worlds, connected to their own forms of technology and glean dopamine and satisfaction therein. And they have very loose, detached relationships with others that are based on their own needs and desires. That's what the future is going to hold for the 21st century man. And for those of us that are totally against that, we will create our own communities with the old traditional way of living and way of seeing things, though we will be barred from many, many things. But I think it's a good thing because we're going to learn how to truly live, and we will truly live, while everybody else will be actually truly dead. Though they're breathing, they're still dead.
It's crazy. And a lot of people, medical doctors, etc., have brought up the point. What happens once you take this DARPA, Department of Defense, New World Order vaccine, no matter what form it comes in? It's been done. I love how people think that they're all racing to the finish line to create it. Whatever they're going to trick people into taking, it's been done before they even pull the trigger on this. That's just all there is to it. First of all, do me a solid and explain to those listening what you mean when you say atomized.
Perfect. Yeah, atomized. Think of an atom, right? You think of an object, a solid object, and then break that solid object into every single separate atom that comprises it. What you have is no longer an object. You have a bunch of separate atoms. Now, what makes that object an object is when those atoms are together, right? When there's a communion with those atoms, you create the object that you can hold in your hand. But then when you break that object into atoms, it's no longer something you can hold. It's just floating atoms. And each one of those atoms are separate and individualized. They are detached from the others. They're no longer related in communion. And it's in a sense gives them their own microcosm, their own bubble. And that's what they mean by atomized. You take a community that's together and then you smash it into separate atoms, and everyone becomes atomized in their own world, in their own life, and only concerned with their own needs and desires and their own connection to the Internet of Things. And the Internet of Things is the new object, but the Internet of Things is not actually a community, though they may call it a community. It's just a bunch of separate people interacting with each other in this detached, almost autistic kind of way. And I don't mean autistic in the way of what we would call the
medical explanation,
the medical explanation, but I mean autistic in the asocial definition.
Right, and it's funny because, again, when I was speaking to this 19-year-old, the asocial aspect was obvious. There was interacting was difficult. It was almost like she wanted to just answer me via a text. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
It's crazy. And we were talking about this before I went live. I was talking to Mike about this. There's so many people that are at the disadvantage that don't realize there wasn't always an internet. And I mean, that's kind of a big thing, man. There wasn't always an internet, and there used to just be 3 television channels.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a much simpler life back then. So
it truly was. And for those that are interested in this concept that we're talking about here and do a little reading, a great source for this is a book by Sherry Turkle, Turkle. It's called Alone Together. And it's pretty much all about the example you've just given here. She's a psychologist and also an artificial intelligence engineer. And she wrote an entire book where she went around interviewing teenagers and elderly, just in having the same conversations you just explained here. And she writes a book about it. And it's a really, really good source for this type of information if you want to see where the future is going. Now, it was written, I'd say, maybe 10 years ago. So it's not really, there's no, what is it? It's mainly Facebook and MySpace. There isn't Instagram on it yet. There isn't, I don't even think, I think Twitter might have been in it. So it's a little old. It's not current. But what's interesting is you see how these back then, 10 years ago, you see how messed up the kids were already getting. Imagine how they are today and how they will be tomorrow. So that's a great source if you want to really see where this technology is going. Also, it's a lot about robotics, and it's the history of artificial intelligence and robotics as well, for those that are interested in how some of this stuff started. And it can give you a great view on where it's going.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy how they're using remember when Event 201, we first finally got that 5 hours of video to watch, how their main concern, and I mean, I thought this blew the whistle on them back then. Their main concern with this tabletop exercise wasn't the safety of people or anything. It was dominating the mainstream media, flooding Facebook, flooding Twitter, flooding the mainstream with pro-pandemic things. And then their other concern was shutting people like you and I up without raising too many alarms. They did a good job with me. They got me good. They hit me, and then they hit my backup channel. So they took down my main channel, and then they hit my backup channel, so I couldn't tell people that my main channel was down. So it looked like I just stopped. And that's a brilliant way to do it, because people have, because of technology, the attention spans of mosquitoes or hummingbirds or goldfish or whatever, and they forget about you quick. This has all been brilliantly played all the way down the line. When Obama was saying we're focusing on the brain project, most Americans looked at that as a good thing. We looked at it for exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? They were going to figure out every single solitary thing so they could manipulate without having to expend any additional or unnecessary gunpowder. And they have done such a brilliant job at it. It blows me away to this very minute.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's happened literally over the past 20 years, you know?
Well, when they pulled the trigger on this, it was fast, and it's still accelerating. It's still accelerating from what I'm seeing.
Yes.
We're talking about how, we were talking about don't blow your own horn, this, that, and the other thing. But here's the deal. We've taken so much flack over the years for what's coming. When it's finally here, people still denying it when it's right in front of their face. That blows me away. You don't have to be a tarot card reader or a mind reader to see what's going to happen and what needs to happen, because they're following a game plan. And it's not even me or Days or anyone telling you that. It's them in so many ways. These guys have just straight come out and said it. Oh, I just lost that link, did I? I had that link to that dude, Klaus Schwab. Oh, right here. I mean, go on Amazon. You can read from the head dude. They're not concerned about the pandemic. The pandemic wasn't anything. That was the macro reset they needed. They needed to stop everybody in their tracks. They needed to redefine society, who's essential and who isn't. And then this entire introduction shows you exactly what's going to happen and what needs to happen. And they're doing it. They're already making food. They're already making large amounts of food. What's the word I'm looking for? They're destroying the food.
Yeah. Yes.
They're
synthetics. They're making synthetics, basically.
Exactly. These guys the food supply is getting destroyed. You don't want to eat those dirty cows and pigs and anything else anymore. Fortunately, once again, Bill Gates has the patent on laboratory-made food, so all is well. It's incredible how flagrant this is, and people don't want to look at this at all, man.
Yeah, I really I look back on Gunther Anders and a lot of other philosophers who used to talk about this idea called Prometheanism, and it really is based in the Promethean myth of stealing fire from the gods and creating a way through technology for man to escape death. And I think I use this analogy as a way to describe what we're actually dealing with in our so-called modern science era. And it's exactly this. We're dealing with these Promethean, I would even call fallen angel technology type of scientists, where they are trying to usurp God's nature and create a type of false natural, a type of supernatural that is no longer based in nature, but actually based in the technology of man. And not only do they want to change nature or trick nature with technology, as Unplugged would say, but not only do they want to trick nature, but they also want to change human nature and create a type of tech human or a type of superhuman. And this is just, it's madness, because for one, we understand it's contradictory to the Most High God and everything He's created, and we understand that it will fail because of that alone. But second, it's as if everyone agrees with this direction. It's as if we all want to be part human or part machine. And it's as if, we're all on board with this. And the great excuse they use to push it is overpopulation, the population bomb that pretty much started in the 70s, Club of Rome and all these different eco-fascists and conservationists, trying to scare everybody with this neo-Malthusian type of argument about eugenics, and we're going to overpopulate the earth. So we have that situation. But then we also have resources. We're going to run out of resources. And of course we have fossil fuels, and those are finite, right? So they have to create some type of new energy system. And so it's interesting, because they do have arguments that people would probably agree with, especially when you think of fossil fuels. We can't survive off fossil fuels forever, but there's many other ways to make energy. And I'm not very educated in energy sources as much as I'd like to be, but I will say that this direction we're going isn't the only direction we can go, and it seems to have a heavy an agenda behind it. And of course, when you read the old globalists, they always say the same thing. They say, you know what, if we don't come together and create a global state, we're just going to kill each other off through war. And that was one of their first arguments, along with, the population situation. And of course, now they have the digital divide. Everyone needs to have internet. Everyone needs to have access. Access is the big term they love using. So we need to give everyone access, equality of everything, right? End poverty by bringing us all together under one global digital system. And they've been saying this for decades, generations even. So when you read Klaus Schwab's work, when you see that he's using COVID to bring this in, this is just following up on generations, and I'd even say hundreds of years. We can go back to Nimrod if we want to really get serious about this. You know what I'm saying? This is just how it's all.
A long conversation, man.
Yeah. This is a long time coming, man. We're alive to see it.
Which is crazy. And I don't think I stress it enough. People need to understand that, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I base this on nothing. But I believe that everybody that's on this earth right now had a choice at some point to come back during this time, and only some of us can remember. I know that's out there, and it doesn't, it doesn't explain it. I can't explain how else people like us can see this clear as a bell. And the fact that these elitists that are pulling this off are just dropping it all now. They're just straight up saying this has nothing to do with COVID. It's just a great opportunity to stop everybody, reshape everything, realign the world order. They're just straight up saying it. The mainstream news is saying it. It blows me away, dude.
Isn't it abusive? It's so abusive. It's like we've been beating you over the head with this for 6 months, but now we're just going to disregard all that beating and all the fear that we were putting on you and just say, you know what, this actually isn't that bad. But hey, guess what? It's going to give us an opportunity to fix some other things that we've been thinking about fixing. It's like, wow, you've been just beating the crap out of me for 6 months, and now you want me to just be okay with your next decision. It's madness, man.
So here's the video. Here's the video that you put up. All right. And they do the usual things. They do the usual qualifications. They show how look at this. This is going to help the elderly and those poor people with diabetes and those athletes, and then the soldiers, because the government cares so much about the soldiers. I mean, they don't mention the 22 a day to this day, still right now, that are committing suicide because they were in the military and it effed them up that bad. That's a lot of people. 22 a day, every day. That's been going on for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. But when you look at videos like this, or you look at promotions like this, it helps athletes. And of course, it helps the elderly. You know, the elderly people that during this entire pandemic, if your grandmother got sick, you just drop her off at the hospital, turn around and leave. You cannot go in there. Then they quarantine her for 2 weeks like an absolute criminal. And then if she dies, she dies. I mean, the way they treated elderly during this whole pandemic was horrendous. It was horrendous. I couldn't believe it. It's still going on to this day. You drop someone off at the emergency room, that's it. You do not go in there with them. They stay and they quarantine, and they're pulling that all back all over again right now.
You know that saying, do as I say, not as I do?
Exactly.
It's a very abusive way to raise a child. And when you study the developmental psychology, which is something I spent a lot of time studying, it's a big part of it. You know, the best way to raise a child successfully is through example, right? And what we are seeing socially and politically and by way of the actions of our government is that don't do as I, or do as I say, not as I do. So when we see what they're doing, it doesn't match what they're saying. They're saying we're going to save you. We care about you. We have all this empathy. But when you see what they're doing, it doesn't match at all. So it's highly abusive. It's extremely, extremely satanic and psychopathic. So just based on some very simple behavior analysis, and also paying attention to the words being said and the actions being done, it is very clear that this is manipulation, and this is dishonesty, and this is pure deception. So along those lines alone, we can see that we're being led to the slaughter. We're actually being nudged towards a direction that's not in our best interest.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. This whole thing, along with the 5G that's looming on the horizon, people are saying, Jake Basket says, Q is true, Richie. There you go. I read it, Jake, but you're completely wrong. But I'll just move along. 5G is going up and being tested in lots of areas. And that was as of a month ago. I was getting 5G technicians saying that we're turning it up incrementally. So apparently it's unlike a radio tower. This thing is controllable. You can turn it up to 0%, 100%. They're saying that at 20%, it's visibly killing all the living animals within view. As far as you can see, birds are dropping. I got some people saying that, and this thing isn't even up and running. Imagine when this thing is full blast, combine it with whatever this DARPA super happy fun vaccine Band-Aid hydrogel chip is. People are in for it, man. They're in for it. Saying no to the vaccines when you're a husband, when you're a father, that's going to be tough, man.
It is.
It's going to be tough. And it makes more sense to me now that it says the number of people that will actually stand their ground is tiny.
That's the worst part.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the worst part, man. They got us in their pocket, man. I guess this is supposed to be playing out this way, and we are going to be the narrow path, right? This is scriptural.
That's what I was thinking, was the narrow path. Good call, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think we just need to be content there, and follow our faith, and know the real plan. You know what I mean? The actual plan, the Most High's plan, and I think we can't go wrong there.
I agree. I'm with you, man. I'm ready for whatever it possibly is. But all I know is I'm not going to do this. And at some point, everybody that decides they're not going to do what they want you to do will have to make a decision, and you will be under duress. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be awesome. It's not going to be awesome.
Indeed. This is true, man.
It is. Let me pull up a couple other things. You got anything else you want to say on this video you put up?
It's pretty straightforward. This is the latest technology that they will be pushing, and in fact, this technology they've been working on since, well, I don't know how long. It's probably been a lot longer than they're even saying, but we do know they were already getting approval for this type of technology in 2019, and they actually plan to roll out Profusa or they plan on rolling out Profusa technology that will be administered to the public in 2021, which actually matches the timeline for the COVID vaccine. So from my view, it seems as if this is going to be one of, because I'm sure there will be plenty others, but one of the ways that they are going to administer these new vaccines coming out, whether that be for COVID vaccine or maybe a ricin vaccine. We're already seeing talks of that. So there's going to be different vaccines. That's another thing, because everyone's not going to buy into the COVID because it's being exposed, but they have to have backups. They have to have multiple opportunities to get that needle or that device in you. So we also got to be smarter than them, and we got to realize it's not just this COVID thing that they're going to come at us with. So just be prepared. And again, it's not so much the angle, whether it's COVID, this or that, it's the technology, because this technology can be used for all of those different situations. And Profusa is a good example of one of the technologies that they most likely will be using. And there's many others out there, but we have to stay on top of what's coming out. And the creepy thing is when you see the timeline of the testing and the rollout, it's like all of this stuff is conveniently, and I would say strategically, matching. Pretty creepy stuff, man. But this is pretty straightforward. It's injectable biosensors. That's what this is.
And they attach to your body on the inside. I forget the way they worded it, but it straight up says it. It attaches to your body and becomes part of you. It makes me think about all those poor bastards that were getting cut open to find out that they did have some sort of, wasn't an RFID. It was just a little thing that had been, the body had been accepting it. It was growing around it, and they had to get them surgically removed. It was disgusting.
Yeah,
they were all by aliens. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. Those aren't aliens. It's just technology you've never seen before.
I want to make a comment. Fox Mulder made a really good point about fossil fuels being renewable. As I said, I'm not very educated in energy development and resources, but if that is the case, I mean, that's a great point as far as these fuels being renewable, meaning that they aren't finite necessarily, and in a sense, they possibly want to take away our ability to travel. I think that makes a whole lot of sense.
Oh no, they're gonna gasoline, the ability to travel across the country, that's going to come to an end. That's going to something will occur where we can't travel anymore.
Yes, and that's big. That's big, man.
From Massachusetts all the way to the West Coast, Route 80-90 has been a cluster F forever. Suddenly in 2020, they're working on that from East Coast to West Coast simultaneously. They're just ripping it up. It just reminds me of the Autobahn. You know what I'm saying? Because it makes sense. It'll be a super highway to get you to the smart cities after they burn everybody out or whatever else comes.
Yeah, that's a great point. And they did the same thing with the highways back in the Industrial Revolution when they were putting in the highways, tearing up communities, totally restructuring societies. we're just gonna relive this over and over again, man, until they complete their smart cities, because that's what they want, man. I believe that's what the burnouts are about. I believe, and personally, I'm really close. I was actually getting ready to evacuate. Thankfully, things have been dying down a bit. Smoke is clearing up a bit. It's been pretty. It's been scary, man. You know, I was at the point where I was almost out of the door, having to figure out where I was gonna go. You know, but I think everyone won't deal with that, of course, because people are living in different type of climates and regions, but they'll find some way to corral us all into these smart areas. And I think the best thing we can do is fight against that and try to maintain community, family, and these types of traditional ways of living to our best ability, because at the end of the day, on this earth, at least, that's all we really have left here is our freedom on the earth, right?
That's it, man. That's it. And it's sad that with the mainstream and the cultish following that Trump gets, which just blows me away, that people are like, Trump 2020, this dude's had the reins for almost 4 years, and the country has never been in worse condition. But these people are just going to blindly and in a cult manner follow him right over the falls in a barrel.
And it's the Hegelian thing. You know, they're seeing the opposite side being so demonic that it's pushing them towards Trump. And I understand that. It's very psychological, but it's working.
It's funny. It's funny you use that word, man. Let me just interject this real quick. The other side being so demonic, and the person they present, because it's a free country. You can vote for her. Anybody can be president, but here, vote for these two creepy old white guys. Joe Biden, I've said this for years. Look in that dude's eyes, man. I said this to you last time. If anybody has ever been a host for an evil entity, he's it. He is just a black-eyed, creepy, molesting, can't even control himself when he's in the White House and everyone's looking. He's still got to wrap his tentacles around whatever woman or child is close to him. It amazes me. That's actually a viable candidate for president of the United States. The dude that wrote the Patriot Act. Nothing to see here, folks. It's crazy. Yeah. Crazy times, man.
It is. He's like a vessel for some type of spiritual, you know, ritual or something. You know, he's like a
himself when the camera's on, man. That's not just one or two examples. There's dozens.
Yeah, it's creepy. I can't even believe it. And also, I think it's being set up in a way to make sure that the conservative party wins. It's a way to make it's like I said, it's almost as if the left is being sacrificed, right? But the problem is, it's going to be a false sense of victory, and it's really going to lead towards the same direction. It might be a little slower, right? It might give us a false sense of hope. We might buy us a little time. And all of this will be God's plan. So it seems to be like that's the direction they're going. I can't see any possibility of Biden winning. It really looks like they're trying to sacrifice the left. You see how crazy they're behaving. You see how quick Democrats are running to the Republican Party. So you see the Hegelian dialectic happening before you. It's very, very easy to see the game plan. And I would suggest people look up unconventional warfare, and then you will see how this is all playing out. The way they demonize one, and then they prop up the other, and they play off of the polls, and they get, it's like what is it, the synthesis, right? And then you get the outcome, right? So that's pretty much what this is. They're going for the solution there.
You mentioned something, I don't know if it was in a live stream or if it was in your video, one of the two, but you had mentioned something about, you know, everyone gives us, oh, you guys are waiting on Jesus, you're Christians, you're just sitting back doing nothing. Well, that's not actually accurate. I spend an awful lot of my time, of my life, knowing that it's going to be shorter than I probably ever thought it was going to be due to what we're looking at right now. And I'm good with that. I'll roll. It's all good. You mentioned something about God calling up his army. Can you blow that up a little bit? Expand on that maybe?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first, I want to say people who speak like that, oh, you're not doing anything. They speak in hyperboles. What is anything? Or you're doing nothing. What does nothing mean? You know, the terms they're using are hyperbolic. So from the get, they're their presupposition is flawed. So even the comments are inaccurate and invalid, right? So it's not as if you're doing nothing, because you're clearly doing something. And it's not that like you're not doing anything at all, because you're clearly doing something, right? So first off, we could clearly see that they're wrong there. But as far as what we are trying to do, we're limited to what we can do, and we're limited to what we should do. And what I mean by that is we're not supposed to love the world. We're not here to save the world, right? We're here to bring Christians, or we're here to bring the lost to Christ. Because at the end of the day, this world is going down, however you want to look at it, right? But at the same time, we are in the flesh. We are human beings on this earth. We are supposed to protect the temple and uphold God's truth. So, of course, we're going to protect our families. We're going to protect our homes. And I would say we're going to protect our communities if we have one. And that is armed, mind you. Right. So I totally believe there are things we have to do in the flesh. Of course, we're not supposed to lay down and expect all of this to just happen and be okay with it. But at the same time, we have individuals. We understand that God is moving his own armies. He is creating his own movement, people coming to the truth. And I believe many of us that are speaking out into the public this way are assisting in that warfare. This is spiritual warfare at the end of the day. Right, there is the physical battle, but the main battle is a spiritual one. And you fight spirit with spirit, and professing the gospel and putting out the truth, also revealing the darkness by exposing all of this satanic stuff, by exposing all of these psyops. It makes it a little easier for those who are lost to see, for those who are blind to see. I can say that for myself. I had to see the darkness to come to the light. Right. Sometimes it works the other way around. And sometimes that's the only way we know how to do it, because that's what we experienced ourselves. So I think people who make those type of comments, for one, they don't even know what they're talking about. And they're not really trying to understand who they're talking about and what they're doing. And a lot of times that comes out of fear. Right. Usually non-believers speak that way because non-believers live in fear. They live a life of fear because they have nothing really to stand on outside of man. And man will always fail you. So at the end of the day, it's really about what God is doing, God's hand moving. And I think he is building up. I know he is building up an army, because that's what scripture teaches us in the last days. He will. And I think that's what we need to focus on.
Very well said. I totally agree. It just pisses me off when I see stuff like that, because you see it a lot. It's just it's an excuse. You're waiting for Jesus while you're wearing your MAGA and Trump 2020 hat. You know what I mean? You're treating a dude as though he is some sort of a biblical entity, when he's just a dude with really bad hair who's been a billionaire twice. You can't become a billionaire unless you are willing to destroy any and all in your path to climb to the top of that pile, to quote you, actually.
They seek a sign. They seek a sign. They need a king. They need a man king.
Can you hold the mic down for like 2 minutes?
Sure.
Not bad. I'll be right back.
So yeah, these types that we're dealing with here, they seek a king. They seek someone to give them reason to live. They seek someone to bring them comfort. They want to hear comforting things, right? Smooth things. They want to be promised security and peace. And this is all a lack of faith. So at the end of the day, when I hear this type of stuff, when I see these types of individuals, I understand that they're truly lost. Even if they claim to be Christians, if they think Trump is going to save them, or if they think man is going to save them, they're extremely deceived. And they will be, unfortunately, very surprised when all of this rolls out as it's supposed to, because there will be trials, there will be tribulation, there will be pain, there will be suffering for those of us that have escaped it thus far. More is on the way. But this is scripture, man. We are in the beginning of sorrows. And of course, a lot of psyops are happening. Clearly, right? There's a lot of things that are strategically orchestrated. And some may say, well, this is Satan's doing. But of course, we understand who is ultimately in control and who is allowing certain things to happen, because certain things have to develop and certain results are on the way, right? And to get to judgment, we have to have all of this roll out. Simple as that. But we have to fight. That's the thing. We have to fight spiritually, and I would also say physically. Protect your home and your family.
I ain't looking for trouble, but I'm not following their plan. Therefore, we're going to draw trouble one way or the other. And just the way people are acting when they see you without a mask, people that see you not wearing a mask are acting the same way as when I see people wearing a mask. It's disgusting to me, because it's like, how pathetic are you? You're an American. How pathetic are you that you get? I mean, after all this time that's passed, dude, how have you not looked any of this up? Any of it? A mask isn't good for anything. If everything that they're saying is real, a mask doesn't help you in any way at all. It actually hinders you. You know what I'm saying? You're stopping one of your natural processes that God already set up automatically. You breathe in and out, whether you think about it or not. That's something you don't mess with. You know what I'm saying?
And to add to that, I saw images of newborn babies. I'm talking hours old. I'm talking day-old newborn babies with facial, what are those called? Not the masks, but those like the plastic shields with face shields on, man.
In the way Americans,
day-old, man.
A way
Four
Americans,
things.
the way they've trained us to be consumers, and I'm guilty of it. One of the first things they did was fashion masks. Now there's sports masks. People are walking around with masks on that say "Don't tread on me," and it's like, I have to bite my tongue to the point that it's almost coming off. It blows me away how accepting these people are of this. I'm going to make my mask my own. They're accepting this. They don't even understand the enormous psyop that they're in, and they're accepting it. If you told me back in January, February, March, April, May, you told me back in May they were going to try to trick people into wearing masks again in September, I would have said, no way in the world that'll happen. Well, here we are.
And how they do it. How they do it. They appealed to superficiality. They appealed to the narcissism of the population. Make it match your outfit. Make it fashionable. They appeal to the surface type of culture that we have. So people get distracted by the accessory, right? It becomes an accessory to your outfit. It becomes an accessory to your identity. Not only is it a type of way to virtue signal, like I'm a good person, but also, hey, it matches, or I'm sending you a message, so they appeal to I'd say the ego. Basically, they're appealing to the ego. And what happens is, if you appeal to the ego, you can distract anyone from all other things.
We've spoken on this before. People that might wake up, I'm getting an echo and it's freaking me out. Whatever.
You're clear on my end. Just
no,
let you know.
I got Mike's computer rolling next to me so I can see it, even though I'm not looking. But at any rate, we spoke on this before. People that would see, like the mainstream came out and said on Fox News, this has nothing to do with a virus. This is all about global warming and Agenda 21 and making Bill Gates, and I forget who else they mentioned, more powerful, blah, blah, blah. And right there, it's like, they just told you what we've been telling you since before this even became a thing. But their egos, remember we spoke on this? Their egos won't let them let it go, because their ego's saying, you can't stop wearing a mask, because that means for the last several months, you've been wrong. You've been walking around like an ass clown wearing a mask, doing as they say. The American ego won't let it go, man.
Yes.
Dude.
I remember that talk. That was a good one. Yes.
It still holds true, in my opinion.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up, because this is another example of that appealing to the ego and how strong the ego is, especially in the American. Okay, we're individualists. We have this dense
America.
history. Yeah, America. It's just part of our culture. It has its good aspects, but of course it has its weaknesses as well. And we have to get some balance going when it comes to the flesh. You got to control that flesh, right? And this is just an example of how we can lose. And I want to add, you brought up Bill Gates. Guess who is the main funding of Profusa? And I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it in the video, but it's DARPA and the Bill Gates and Melinda Foundation.
Wow. That's
Yes.
heavy hitters, man. To be up there with DARPA, because DARPA is no joke. DARPA is September 10th, 2001, Donald Rumsfeld, we can't account for $2.3 trillion. Dude, how can you not account for that kind of money? If you stacked it up, 2.3 trillion is enough to fill a town square or something. It's a massive amount of money. We don't know where it went. We're going to look into it. The next day 9/11 happens. Nobody thinks about it anymore. It's all over. But that's DARPA is where 2.3 trillion goes to, etc. To have Bill Gates on the same menu as DARPA for this thing, that's frightening. That's frightening.
You don't need much more info than that. That tells you quite a bit, because what you're having is like death tech merging with biotech. It's like, come on, man. Oh, I want to another thing. If you look into what the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funds, you will be amazed. They have a technology that they've been developing for a long time now. This is creepy stuff. They have a technology that is a type of emotional training application for kids. So they have an app that teaches kids empathy. Can you believe this? Why would we need something like that, say 10 years from now? We'll probably need it because everyone will be so mechanical that they don't have natural human emotions, and they need applications to teach them what emotions are. They have a big project for an application that teaches emotions. I'm going to be going into it on some videos soon. I have a few other documents I have to finish up, but it's creepy stuff, man.
Let me get this straight. Let me get this just to make sure I'm tracking on the. They're working on an app that can teach somebody empathy. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Like the Matrix, like jacking in here. Now you have empathy. This is what it looks like, because in the world you live in, you don't have enough interactions to even understand what empathy is.
Well, that's probably the end result. But what I've read so far, what they have developed is an actual application you would download on your phone, and it's like it's a training app. So you open it up, and it gives you like kind of almost like, you know, those brain games you have on an application. I can't remember the name, but they're just little games that you play, and it's supposed to train your brain, and, you know, vocabulary games and different things like this. It's that type of technology, but it's supposed to help you understand and build your empathy and social cues. It's really weird. It is crazy. That's
one thing I was always glad about, is that I do have empathy. I'm missing a few pieces, and it happens, you know, it is what it is. But I
think they're just preparing for the future. They're preparing for a future of low empathy, very mechanical individuals due to living through tech, living through screens, not engaging as much, not having real relationships. Everything is digital or detached. They're getting ready for a large population of young people that were born into that. So, so you understand, if you're not from 1 year old to 7 years old, if you're not getting a really good social kind of experience, it's going to have some results or some repercussions, right? That's just period. But imagine if all you have during that time are different computer games or different types of virtual reality. I mean, you're going to be a very different type of human being. You're better off not engaging and just being alone. You're better off that way, because at least you're not damaged by the machines. You're still living in the real world and engaging with the physical reality. A lot of these kids growing up in the next 20 years are going to be growing up in a virtual reality more than the physical reality. So you already see Bill Gates preparing for this by creating different types of applications that can I'd say synthetically teach these children how to feel. It's creepy, man.
It's crazy as possibly can be. Someone said, did you watch yes, we made a huge video on it. That was one of their very first times of coming straight out and playing it all out right there in front of everybody. That was a long time ago. I've been stuck on this whole certificate of ID thing for a while, because it affects us directly right now. I can't talk. I mean, are we in tribulations? I don't know, man. What do you think of that?
You know, as I've said before, I really, you know, Revelations is such a dense book. It's extremely esoteric. I try not to interpret it too much, just because I don't feel like I'm just not confident there. You know, I think that maybe it's my own humility. I don't know, but it's something that we definitely need to take seriously. But I try to avoid trying to define exactly what it's saying, and I try to let the Spirit lead me
to do that. In my opinion,
I try to let the Spirit guide me and give me understanding. And I feel I do have some good understanding, but I don't feel I should be teaching it per se. So I really don't go into to the whole. I feel like we're in the beginning of sorrows. Personally, I feel like things are just starting to begin, and we'll see how they roll out. But there's so much that has to occur, and I know different people have different interpretations of the revelations. I've gotten emails saying, "Oh, you don't understand Revelations." Well, I don't think anyone really does fully. I think we understand the major plan and some of the major movements that are going to come out of it. But we have to be very humble and very careful when we're discussing Scripture, especially the last and final book.
Okay, it's a big, but I mean, it's the last. Yeah, I agree. It's the last chapter. You don't want to mess around right there, but be ready. And there's a lot from what I've read, but from what I've read, there's a lot of things that still haven't come to pass as of yet. But yes. I'll tell you what, I do a lot of things, like I keep my eye on the sky. And last night we had a couple of P900s pointed up, and there was a lot of stuff going on. It's crazy. I don't know how to interpret it as of yet, but like I told you about last time, the Big Dipper.
Oh yeah.
Now I've got pictures. I'll put them up today or tomorrow. I've got pictures of another Big Dipper in the sky, but it's backwards and it's a little crooked, but it was never there before. And there's one specific star or wandering star in it. And I've got video of that. I'll put it up. But I do believe we are starting to see signs in the sun, moon, and stars. But I've been beating that drum for a long time. But here it is, to take over the entire earth, to change all God's nations into one world nation. You hit on that before. God never talks about people. He talks about nations.
Yes.
And these dudes completely want to get rid of that and make it all one world, one country, one nation. That don't play. That's no good. Right there. There's your tell right there. God speaks of nations. These guys don't. They want nation. That should be a big red flag if all these other red flags aren't enough.
And then a lot of people bring up Russia. Where does Russia play into this? That's another interesting part of all of this, because Russia seems to be pretty individualistic in the way they want to run things. Now, I personally believe they're all connected at some level, but I think we'll be seeing some Russia involvement eventually. I don't know how it's going to play out, but China and Russia are interesting cards, and I'm intrigued to see how they pull those and where they play. I don't really believe there will be a World War III. Personally, I don't believe there is really a purpose for that type of warfare anymore with with bio warfare and digital warfare. I really do not believe there will ever be another what we would call physical war. Now, there might be one put in the media. They might, like they've done in the past, they might try to design one, orchestrate one through screens. But I think we're going to see, I think bio warfare is pretty much the future. Just from my view, it seems like this is the way they're going to deceive everyone, is through these false types of diseases and viruses and pandemics and stuff like that.
I think you're absolutely on it. And as far as World War III, I think we're going through it right now.
Yeah, it's a good point.
No one, as of yet, no one of consequence has fired a shot. Lots of shots have been fired, but what you see in the mainstream, dude, it's impossible. It is impossible to tell what's real and what isn't. So to get back to what we talked about at the very, very beginning, what I texted you about last night, if they want what they want, they've got their proxy army, they're knocking things, they're doing stuff to the point. And like I said, I've been white my entire life. White people are lazy. They're slow to anger. They don't want a confrontation. If they were to allow Trump to get hit, oh my, because now there's no hope. There's no more MAGA. There's no more where we go one, where we go all. Trust the plan. Everything is out the window. It has to give them what they want, because that would be ideal to bring in outside forces to come back in and contain or get things back in order again. And plus, there would be blood flowing in the streets.
It'd be madness.
It would be madness, dude.
The militias right now are starting to get together a little more, especially as of late. They this aspect of patriotism and conservative movements, they're actually pretty cool-headed, organized, structured properly, and as you said, not very quick to anger, which are good things. But as you've stated, let them pull something like this off, regarding hitting Trump. Oh man,
Oh man.
you are going to see these groups come out blazing.
And then for some reason, I believe Biden's out of the picture. Obama comes back in.
Yeah, man. Whew,
it's because it's so many people that I respect a lot and that I followed since before I even made a video ever. We're talking 11, 12 years ago, following Kim Majariak. I don't know how to say your name, brother. I hope you're watching. I know you do. But he's brought this back. He's tied everything current straight back to them using esoteric symbolism, because words, everything slips away. Tower of Babel, symbols stand, and these dudes are masters of it. Everything ties back to Obama. And then I forgot that I even made a video where I said I just had the craziest dream where something bad happened to Trump. And then Obama showed up again. It's like this subscriber right here saying, soon Trump will be taken out. Obama will return as the eighth king. Revelation. I don't know how to tie that to Revelations, but maybe that does. I don't know.
Honestly, we were saying this before Trump was even in office, and it was an idea. It was a hunch.
Yeah.
But man, it's looking more and more possible every day. And I'm not some, I don't like predicting the future. I just have ideas.
We're just talking.
But man, if this happens, it would make everything very simple, basically, for them to roll out the plans that they have. This would be the ultimate way to do it. Very interesting times, man.
It's very interesting time. And I got to remind people, have no fear. I'm saying that as a single father of no one. My only main concern is my father, and sadly, my dad can't hear anything from me. He can't. We're Italian. It's never going to happen. And it bums me out because at his age, he's done everything they've told him to do. He's fought wars for this country. Every male in my family's fought wars for this country. He doesn't deserve what's coming. And when they knock on the door, he'll open it and let him right in. It just sucks. That's the only thing that I got stuck on. But when the time comes, I ain't going for any of this. I've already told, they know. I mean, there's no way they don't know who I am because they keep shutting me down every time I say anything.
Yeah, and as you've said, this has been their biggest game plan is propaganda. The biggest part of their mission is propaganda, limiting those that speak against the status quo. And you've been doing this for a very long time. You have a long reach. So, I mean, it's only obvious. And they get to do it through algorithms. That's the thing. They're so secretive and elusive with the way they censor now. They have all these different ways of limiting.
They don't even tell you. They don't even tell you anymore, bro. They don't even tell you. You all of a sudden, oh, look at this. I'm locked out of my channel and I got a community guideline strike, which there's no explanation. There's no email. It's a good setup.
And they know they have the majority, so
without a doubt.
They allow us to get a little bit out, and they do these little incremental censorship things that keep us within a certain limitation. You know what I mean? Like they keep us in an area just enough so we can't grow outside of what they want us to. That's why they allow a lot of us to speak and some things to get out. And they just here and there, they'll shut you down for a while. It's like they have everything numerically designed, man. It's like they have all these models that they use, and they probably know how far you're going to go in a certain amount of time. So probably every few weeks they'll shut you down. They won't let you on for a few days. It's all mathematical, in my view, because I understand that's how these guys work. Everything is through models, and the models aren't always correct. And we understand who has the ultimate model, right?
Indeed.
So at the end of the day, man, I'm honestly very optimistic, not to say that the world will be saved, but that we will be good. So I'm watching it play out, taking notes, keeping score, and reminding people that we win.
Yeah, we win in the end, man. I'm gonna let you go. I've been going 2 hours here.
Oh, it was great, man. I really had a great time.
Yeah, no worries, brother. At any time, and if the creek does rise and the good Lord isn't willing, and you need to get out of Dodge, I'll come get you. If you can get out of California, so much the better. But if I have to come into California, I will.
I appreciate that, brother.
Well, we got a spot for you. We already discussed it, so no worries, brother. At any rate, Days of Noah is the speaker. If you don't know him, you've been missing out. You might want to go to his channel and listen to everything. All the links will be pinned below. Dr. Leah said, is getting out of the USA going to help? This is a one world order.
Nowhere to run.
The USA is going to be particularly ugly if she ever wakes up. But other than that, it's going to be all over the earth. I mean, it already is. It already is. There's countries that are locked down right now. So
I think the United States might have more freedom than anywhere else at this point. You see what's going on in Australia. You see what's going on in the UK.
Israel, the UK, and all of them are warning about this second wave that's coming up, the twin-demic and blah, blah, blah. So
yep.
At any rate. All right, brother. I appreciate your time, man. Hit me up whenever you need anything.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
From Boston and Days of Noah, we are out.